Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Modiphius Entertainment Week rocks on, as today I will be taking a first look at the Dreams and Machines Player's Guide from the aforementioned Modiphius Entertainment. This is written by Chris Birch, Dave Seamark, Natalie Whipple, Mary Takuda, Logan Boise, Jennifer Kretschmer, Bryce Johnson, Daniel Lade, and Nathan Dowdle. Hopefully, I didn't mispronounce any of those names, but with my luck, probably one or two. This 222-page hardcover will carry an MSRP of $45. When it arrives in stores, you can get the PDF absolutely free if you do order the hardcover from Modiphius Entertainment or one of their partners. You can grab the PDF alone right now over at DriveThruRPG for $18. All that said, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got the Player's Guide for Dreams and Machines. Do want to mention before I dive on in, the fine folks over at Modiphius Entertainment were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. And these days, it's very important that you know that. We're also not going to look at each and every page of the Player's Guide, but I do want to give you a good feel for what's in this book. So let's get the shrink wrap off, and then we will take a peek at the back. Ever a Prime was once a paradise. What will you make it? Dreams of Machines is a brand new role-playing game setting where people come together to rebuild their world following a catastrophic war. You will venture into a world of mystery and adventure, a world where slumbering mechs dot the landscape, and people build their lives anew in the wreckage of paradise. Take on the role of one of the new tribes of humanity, an archivist, dreamer, Everin, river, or spear, and forge a path for yourself and your people. And of course, it's going to go into detail what's in the book, but we're going to take a peek inside. So let's jump on in. So we've got our credits page here. So it looks like we have quite a few artists who were involved in the production of this hardcover. Got a lot of playtester credits too. So just make sure folks get the credit they deserve. Now, you may have seen my review of the Dreams and Machines starter set that I released a while back. I did recommend it, but I did point out that it was pretty rules light, so it probably was not necessarily a role-playing game that was aimed at someone like myself, but production quality of that starter set was top-notch, and you could easily jump right on into the festivities. So now this is the Player's Guide. There is also a Game Master's Guide, and you do require both of those books. So this is designed to be rather easy to jump on into. If this turns out to be along the lines of the starter set for Dreams and Machines, this will be super, super easy for newcomers to role-playing games to pick up and get started with, because that was one of the big selling points of the starter set, was how easy it was to understand all the rules, mechanics, and really jump on in and start playing. So it looks like we're going to get a bit of a breakdown in what is a role-playing game, as we tend to see. I pointed out when I reviewed the starter set for Dreams and Machines, I almost had the impression that this was designed to be used as a licensed IP from a pretty well-known video game, but somewhere along the lines, maybe that fell through. This is a setting where these machines had gone to war with humans and technology has pretty much been wrecked. So this is not necessarily on a prehistoric level, but there is a bit of a throwback to the Stone Age in some ways. And then we also do have the high tech from the distant past. So it looks like we're going to get a breakdown of what's going on in the setting. Artwork throughout looks pretty top-notch, as it was in the starter set also. So it appears we're getting history and lore to begin with, various different locations in the game world. Then we get the different factions. So we have the Everans, generally good-natured. Everans are resourceful people interested in building comfortable and happy lives for themselves and their towns and villages. How one accomplishes this is entirely up to them, but it usually involves making an unideal situation work in their favor. In truth, every place there are Everans was once a place their ancestors fled to when the builder turned on them. Every home, workplace, and trading post is a testament to their tenacity and adaptive nature. We've got the Archivists. The Archivists were formed in the fires of the Builder War. The former president, Astrad Menon, led a group that took refuge in an off-grid facility he had established. The Lacio Archive, far to the south, intended as a custodian of all Evera's knowledge and wisdom, Lacio became the focal point of resistance against the builder. Looks like we get 2-3 pages devoted to each of the factions. We have the Spears. When the world ended, the cities were abandoned. They had become battlegrounds, target practice, and test beds. The builder attacked with everything from machines and nukes to biological weapons. The few urban centers that survived were evacuated by what was left of the government. However, a few people remained behind, whether they did so trying to delay the inevitable from a lack of options or out of stubbornness. It didn't matter. These survivors formed groups and swore to never let a single person be left behind or stand alone. So those are the Spears. Then we have the Dreamers. To be a dreamer is to see outside the old tech, to be daring enough to struggle, savvy enough to experiment, and prudent enough to avoid ancestral mistakes. And then we've got the Thralls. Little is known of the Thralls by most Everans. Most guess they are descended from those who fled underground during the Builder Wars to escape the machines, but their long severance from the rest of Everan society means it's impossible to tell. Thralls are rarely seen and barely known, existing mostly as rumors and hearsay. They are usually only glimpsed during their infrequent raids, and it is hard to know what their culture looks like. Now, in the starter set, the Thralls were enemy NPCs, so keep that in mind. Then we have the Builder and the Wakers. The mechs are called Wakers. The concept of the Builder was born from the chaos of the decades after contact was lost with Earth. After 40 years of bickering and argument, squabbling and conflict, the United Assembly was founded, a worldwide governing body to bring all the Everan peoples together. It worked. To maintain and develop this sudden unity, the United Assembly launched Project Builder. This ambitious initiative would create a worldwide power and utility grid controlled by a mega artificial intelligence honed to monitor and respond to the needs of all. Yeah, well, we know how that turned out. So we get into the core rules, which the core rules are not all that difficult to pick up. In Dreams and Machines, you'll be using 20-sided dice for your action resolution. This is a simplified 2D20 system, which is kind of Modiphius Entertainment's house rule set. But the 2D20 system can be modified in many different ways to make it rules light or to make it far, far crunchier as far as rules complexity. And I'll be the first to point out that out of all the 2D20 systems that I have seen from Modiphius Entertainment, I find Dreams and Machines is no doubt the easiest for newcomers to wrap their heads around. I know some folks out there find the 2D20 in some of the game settings to be relatively complex. Here, it is certainly not the case. Now, Dreams and Machines is also a scene-based role-playing game. So you will find that you'll have adventures which play out in acts as opposed to, say, where you have a very sandbox setting in a lot of ways, or sandbox adventures. That is not the case with Dreams and Machines, at least from the adventure that I saw in the starter set. So we're going to have different origins. So now we're going to get into those various different factions. It's going to tell you what your special abilities are, what that archetype really aims to accomplish as far as being part of your team, part of your group. So each of these are going to have their own special talents that are going to complement each other in the group. So here we show different talents. So as an example, the Grabber. Grabbers are a breed apart, choosing to delve into the deepest and most dangerous of ruins, seeking out the powerful treasures hidden within. It may be high risk, but high risk means high reward. If you know your business the way you do, light-footed and sneaky, your mantra, get in quick and get out quicker, keeps you away from trouble, mostly. So here we have the different talents. Never stay still. Movement is life. If you stay still, it's only a temporary state until you get moving again. Better when unseen. You do your best work when nobody is looking. Following a lead, constantly seeking the greatest prizes and most valuable treasures. You always keep an ear out for rumors, legends, even tall tales that may contain the secrets of your next great discovery. Bag of tricks. You collect tools and resources that can help you get out of a tricky situation. Light feet. You move fast to secure your prize first and get away before anyone else reaches you. Then we have guardians. We have mediators. Tech. So I can tell you that I do see that we have more archetypes to choose from in the player's guide than we did in the starter set. If I remember correctly, in the starter set, we had 4. Looks like we have the ability to create advanced archetypes, custom tailor the character to what you're looking to play. Common items and equipment, we've got weapons. Now, one of the things that the starter set had was a bunch of different cards for you to utilize for NPCs, weapons, the actual character classes themselves. It was kind of interesting that each of the players would get an envelope that they would put their cards into that actually made up their characters. Getting into detail about various different equipments. So there's armor, here's gear, combat med kits, heavy vehicle components, first aid kit, a stylus, restraints, various services that would be available. So river travel, first aid, food and rest, food and lodging, repairs depending on the tech level. So we do have tech levels 1 through 5. Have vehicles. So we got some rules about operating vehicles. Looks like we'll get some stats for some of the vehicles as well. So we got large vehicles, groundcraft, and watercraft. So here are our stat blocks for some vehicles. I would take a guess the Game Master's Guide will have more of this. Glyphs and weaving. The world is littered with glyphs. In the world before, they were a common sight scattered around cities and other places where machines worked, provided simple directions, instructions, and other basic information to machines as they went about their assigned tasks. The graphic layer instruction format, commonly referred to as glyph, was designed to shape the machine's perceptions of the world, programmed into them so deeply that a machine could not ignore them. An environment might have glyphs that told machines which routes they were permitted to take, which places they should go, which places they weren't to enter, and which places were hazardous. So creating glyph patterns to try to control machines. So here we have weaving. The world is littered with remnants of ancient technology, and much of that technology is built upon a common base, designed to network together and be operated using common, familiar interface systems. Alas, what was once common knowledge is now obscure. Few people recall the once familiar gestures and command words, which allow communication with the machines. And few have managed to preserve or rediscover the once common tools that aided people in these tasks. One of the aspects of this game setting that's pretty interesting is this is not Earth. This is an Earth colony that has been cut off from Earth for, if I remember correctly, hundreds of years. These are descendants of humans, but they are not Earth people. So pretty interesting there. So it looks as if we might finish up with some fiction. That's what it looks like to be here. We get some quick reference, talking about tests. So your action resolution, complication ranges, exhaustion, resting, types of truths. So that is a key component of the game as well, your truths. We have types of truths: location, situation, a personal truth, an equipment truth. So they are descriptors. They're not necessarily keywords, but they are descriptors. Then we're going to wrap up with an index. I guess character sheet, possibly. Yes, there we go. We wrap up with the character sheet, and it looks like we've got a map. All right. Production quality, very nice. Should point out, paper stock is solid. And as you've seen, the artwork throughout is pretty damn well done. So that is a look inside the player's guide for Dreams and Machines from Modiphius Entertainment. Of course, I will have a review of this player's guide in the very near future. All right, that is it for this time out. Please join me tomorrow as Modiphius Entertainment Week is going to continue, because I will be taking a first look at the Dreams and Machines Game Master's Guide. So be sure to catch that tomorrow. Anyway, that's it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell. It'll not only let you know when I share videos such as this first look, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube, as I bring you the latest in tabletop gaming news and pontificate about the state of our hobby. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit gaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are not going to find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thank you very much for watching. And until I see you next time, I certainly hope all of you out there get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.